Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment. Welcome. We are here with Anja Shaefer, who is carrying on the teachings of Omnec Onec. And this is From Venus I Came, From Venus with Love. And it is a story about love for all of humanity. So if you're listening to this or watching now, you may be part of this Venusian love wave. Let's welcome Anja Shaefer to this platform. Hi, Anya. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Lorraine. Thank you very much for having me here.
So this is beautiful. Omnec Onec, as many know with the book From Venus I Came and Angels Don't Cry, My Message, the Venusian trilogy. It's an amazing story of how she came into Venus. She came from Venus here to our planet as a young girl and actually switched with the life of the girl that was in her place. That's a fascinating story. We're going to talk a little bit about what that is for those who don't know, but also it's the message. It's the message of love for humanity, and that's what you're carrying on. So give us an update from you on your work, bringing her message of love forward right now.
Yes, so I'm Anya and I'm in Germany and I have been Omnec's friend. I met her actually in the 90s, around 94. I saw her for the first time in a German TV show. That was the time when her book was translated to into German for the first time and published here. And so at that time, she had some friends and manager and people around her helping her to bring this information out for spiritual reasons, which we don't really understand. She was really almost directly taken from the USA to Germany after her coming out, so to say, yeah, because she lived a relatively private life from the moment when she was brought at the age of 7. She started her earthly life and she had lots of karma to work out, not only her own, but also the karma from the girl that she replaced. She took on this karma from this other girl because she owed her something. And that was one reason why she came. She had many reasons why she came. Part was this karmic situation. And of course, the other reason was that she was supposed to be an experiment because the Venusians wanted to see how a child can develop in this society, in our society that still has been pretty much under control of negative forces at that time and still is, of course, as we all know. So it was also important for the Venusians and for the other benevolent extraterrestrials to find solutions on how they can help the transformation, how they can help the people, the souls on Earth to find back their true purpose and their freedom, and to grow spiritually, so that they eventually really find back their ways home to the creator, so to say. So this big journey of soul is part of Omnec's teachings. And these people, many people on the earth dimension, on the physical dimension on earth, were pretty much stuck because the controlling and negative powers have been so powerful and so intense that many souls could not really grow and develop. So then, as we all know, science was pretty much advancing. Technological progress was pretty successful to that point, when the controlling and negative factors and systems on this planet even reached the ability to destroy the planet with atomic weapons and atomic war. So this was this turning point when the benevolent extraterrestrials and caretakers of the earth started to really feel, well, we have to do something, we have to help people on the planet to grow spiritually, so that spiritual growth can, because it is necessary that scientific and technological progress goes hand in hand with spiritual development. And on the earth, the spiritual development was relatively low compared to the technological, controlling, and scientific development, until that point that the earth was even in danger of being completely destroyed through war and negativity and destructive forces. And so the ETs, the benevolent, of course, the benevolent ones like the Venusians and our ancestors, had to figure out ways how to help people grow, how to souls awaken without forcing their will on somebody. So it's a spiritual law of non-interference. They could not just come, as Omnec always said, open our minds and throw out the old information, all this negative controlled crap in the minds, and to put new ones in, new information, good information in, because development and growth has to come from the inside. And so Omnec was brought to also send information to her people and to help them understand what's really wrong here, what's really the problem. And the other reason why she was brought was, of course, really being a spiritual teacher, master later in her life, which started mostly in the end of the 80s, 90s. Of course, she wrote her book, her autobiography, From Venus I Came. It was already written, I think, when she was in the 20s or so, pretty early. But it was not the time yet to come into public. It was later that the book was published through Wendell Stevens, the UFO investigator and retired Air Force Colonel Wendell Stevens. He was the one who published her book for the first time in 91. And then somehow this was really immediately this connection with Germany. So people from Germany, I think, were on a UFO convention in the States, where Omnec held a lecture, invited her to come to Germany. Her book was then directly translated, published in Germany, and then she was guided to show herself in some TV shows and interviews. And that's where I saw her for the first time, around 94. And this was when our connection started, our friendship started. And obviously I'm part of this whole mission, because since then I'm at her side. She says I'm her German voice, I'm her German daughter, kind of. I'm the one who knows her best from many people concerning the spiritual information. And so this is what I'm now doing, because she's not so publicly active anymore, and now it's my heritage kind of to help bringing this message and this mission to you and to all who are listening.
Yes, a true devotion to the message of love and this evolution for humanity on Earth. It's a fascinating story, and we may pull some clips from that interview with Omnec. Really, truly, it's based on love. So let's zoom out on a bigger picture. I loved what you said about how this is to assist the earth, the communication, and her mission is to assist the earth in the growth of spirituality and the development of our spiritual faculties, and how technology and spirituality were not balanced as they should be. Can you share a little bit about what you know about the history of Venus in relation to Earth and how it's always in our connection for that evolution?
Yes, Omnec explains in her book. She has a lot. She shares much history from about Venus in her book, in her autobiography, and the most important thing is that the Venusians are part of our ancestry on Earth. She said that there was a time when Venus was um, that there was a civilization on Venus, even a physical civilization millions of years ago, which was actually guided from the spiritual hierarchy to enter into our solar system and to bring life forms into our solar system after its creation, kind of. So it's very long ago. It's a very long story. And so from various directions of this whole galaxy of the universe, species were guided to enter the solar system. And not only they did not only inhabited Venus, but also she said that the older planets were Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn, and that civilizations were brought there or went there to bring life into these to these planets, into our solar system. And according to Omnec, then there was a time when these planets could not support physical life forms anymore because they went through their own evolution processes, and that colonies then eventually, of course, the history is much longer. It's in the book, and it's part of her complete teachings, The Unknown History of Our Solar System and the Spiritual Transformation of the Earth is one big information package, kind of a lecture that she held, and a whole workshop. But just to cut it short, she said that colonies were brought to Earth, and among these colonies were Venusians and Martians, and of course people from Jupiter and from Saturn, maybe also others, but these are the four that she is aware of, and this is the information that Omnec has been sharing. And that's why she said that the Venusians are part of these caretakers of the Earth, because they helped the planet Earth to grow, and they brought life forms, also minerals and animals and plants and others. So many life forms were brought to the Earth because the Earth is such a beautiful planet. It has always been a planet with lots of water. It had a balanced atmospheric structure, she said, because once it had two moons. Later on, one moon was destroyed during a war. So there always has been a lot of wars, also warlike things going on the Earth. And the Venusians and other benevolent, loving beings who are friends of the Earth always brought again healing, and again minerals and plants, and helped healing the earth. And so there's a lot of love. A lot of love has always been flown into this planet, into our earth, into all these souls who are here living on this planet, not only the humans, but of course all other life forms, also the unseen life forms. It's all made of love, because love is the basic for the whole creation. And this is part of Omnec's teachings, that she said the creator is just pure love. It's there is nothing else in the end, so to say. And this is what we are trying to get back to this knowledge, to this wisdom, and to this light and love information. Yeah, that's part of it.
Yes, and it corroborates what spiritual teachers say and the mission. And as we evolve on this planet away from war, do you see that as a possibility? I mean, is that yes, the answer is yes, because we are all here for peace. And
Yes,
so the roadmap away from this current in the collective, the current theme or the current whatever it is in the collective, how do we get past that? This is an
yes,
individual journey of the heart. So
yes.
please talk more about this.
So one thing that one information that I know, or I love this quotation, like it's from the movie Prometheus, and this Dr. Elizabeth Shaw. She says, when she was asked, how do you know it, and she said, well, actually, I don't know it, but I decided to believe in it. So even if I don't know it from proof or from visual proofs or something, this is the first step. I can decide what I want to believe in. And I want to believe in the power, and this is one thing that Omnec has been sharing, the power of the imagination. Because Omnec always said imagination is the key to creation. And the world is currently the way it is because millions of beings have been created it. They were creating it. They created our world through their belief structures, and most of it is unconscious. So it's so important to awaken into the knowing again, into the realization again, that it is our powers, our soul powers, our visualization powers, imagination powers, how we want to live and how we want to have our planet and our surroundings and our environment. So it's like a shift of, just taking everything the way it is, taking the structures, believing the structures, or changing the structures and changing the world. And that has to come from the inside. And the first step is to realize our creative powers again, because we are all part of the creator. The creator is pure creation, pure love, and we are all sparks of it. We are all part of this. And we are all little gods or little creators, because we have the power. We are in this situation that we are in these bodies. Even, when we realize that we are, as souls, created even our bodies, we created our whole lives, our surroundings, we chose our parents, we chose the experiences that we want to go through, we choose everything eventually. And this is, of course, pretty important to realize that we are not victims of the circumstances, but that we are really the masters of our destinies and the masters of what we want to have in our worlds. And this realization is the first step to start changing what we want to experience. And yes, this is one thing. But you asked something else. What was it again? I wanted to say as that I just forgot, but now I got it again, is that the earth is protected. So this is pretty important to realize and to know that we are out of this danger of complete destruction. And many of your audience probably also know about alien abductions and all these creepy information and things like that. So this all had to stop because the benevolent, our friends from the other worlds, so to say, they have an eye on the earth and on the soul development and on the transformation process and what they can prevent us from making new negative experiences, so to say, they do. It's just that they have to obey the law of non-interference, but they, as far as I know, they stopped these things that some aliens are allowed to do abductions. This is one thing. And that they are, I also heard, and I also believe in this, that they also already really destroyed weapons or so with their special high advanced technology, that when there were tests or atomic things going on, that they really destroyed some things to prevent further destruction. So these are, of course, information, you know, Laureen, that I did not witness with my own physical eyes, but that I heard, and that I love to share it, because I feel it's important to believe in a positive future. And one belief is that we are protected. We are protected and we are guided. So that's one thing. And the current situation, of course, with this Corona and COVID worldwide thing is, of course, a very complex thing. I can only share what I feel about it, what I know about it, and this is, of course, that it is part of this transformation process. So it probably helps many people to really realize what's going on, to realize, to have a chance to decide new for themselves what they want to believe in and what they don't want to believe in. And probably many people are also, you know, challenged in them, within themselves, on how to react, how to deal with this situation. If they want to choose fear and going into fear and self-defense and protecting themselves, or fear of virus, fear of death, it's a really a big chance for waking up, I would say. Because, you know, it's a chance. How do you want this world to develop? What is your choice? So it's kind of, I would say that it is almost like a booster of helping people to wake up, to see what's going on, and to have a chance to build their new lives, or to build their new yes, to decide, to make new decisions.
Yes, to truly be in the heart. I mean, it feels like
Yes,
we're being challenged to very clearly see when we're in the head or when we're in the heart, and
yes,
basically in this present moment. And it almost seems as if it will get to a point where it's easier to surrender to the heart. And
yes,
I see more and more people listening to the heart, learning how to listen to the heart, what that truly means. As far as manifesting in these energies right now, we're given plenty of opportunities to see that flow that comes from being in the heart and getting guidance from within. And so the more that all of us can help people do that, we have done our jobs. And that's really the message of Omnic, and why we're sharing this information today, because it,
absolutely,
right, it's the inward. And then so judgment, what would you say about judgment? Because that will lower our vibration and put us right back in
absolutely.
our head, right? So there comes a point where judgment's got to go.
Well, this is, you know, there are some, Omnic has this talent of bringing things to the point. She said that when she was a little child, when she was still on Venus as a little child, that she was asked by the masters if she would accept this adventure of going to Earth and so on, and that they would give her gifts. And one gift, gifts in form of in the form of helping her with her way, with her mission. And one of these little gifts, and she was like, you know, as a little child, as she always has been, oh, they're giving me some jewelry, or they're giving me toys, or they're giving me this. No, they were giving her something like talents. And one of the talent has always been to express the most complex information in simple terms, so that everybody, even a child, could understand it and could get it. And so she was, you know, when she was present in the TV or in a lecture, you know her, she can really with some words express so much. She has this multi-dimensional talent of expressing the most complex situations and information as simple as possible. And one thing, and it makes it so easy to keep in mind what she has to share, not only in the heart, but also in form of words. And one quote from her is, not I already shared one, imagination is the key to creation, one of my favorites. And the other favorite is, what the most important thing that people on earth have to learn is to replace judgment and criticism with love and acceptance.
Mhm.
So easy. And yet it is a path to mastery if you really apply this on your own self and on everything around you, including judging and criticizing myself. This makes you loving yourself when you stop criticizing and judging yourself. Instead, love and accept yourself. So this starts, everything starts with yourself. But if it's easier to start loving your dog or your cat or whoever, you know, then it's good to start there. Whatever, love is always the best choice. Loving and accepting is always the better choice compared to judging and criticizing. It would make it, we had a different world if people would learn this at the earliest age, from childhood on, you know, to really love and accept what is instead of judging and criticizing. And then comes this conscious learning how to focus your energy, how to focus your imagination, how to be creative with your visualization. This is what she describes how it is on Venus, on the astral Venus. It's such a beautiful story how she describes everything, that these temples of learning and so, you know, on the astral dimension of Venus, where everything that these beings believe or think, that it is instantaneously manifested. But we have not come so far yet on the earth because we have not mastered and our own thinking process yet. It's still so much mental crap and you know, thoughts running around completely uncontrolled. And this is what keeps the world on the outside level, as you want, you know, if you want, the way it is. But if we start, you know, observing the thoughts and really also questioning everything a little bit, starting to, this is meditation, starting to observing the thoughts, allowing silence and space entering the mind and the thoughts, so there can come light in, then there come fresh wind in, you know, and then you start to be creative, and it makes everything lighter and easier and more alive, because we are not only this physical body, we are also, we are so much more. And it's so important that children, that people remember this, that we are universal wonderful beings, powerful beings, and not only limited to this physical dimension, that it's not just, breathing some years and then dying and then you're in a coffin or somewhere. And that's it. That's just a little tiny experience from all these experiences, right?
And that's exactly what's going on right now with this global reset, as it's been called, where there's time for people to go into silence. Meditation is getting out there more and more. And as we move forward, because there's been a pause from the old patterns, there's new attention, new awareness to exactly how we are doing that. And I think it's innate within our hearts that we naturally lean that way. So there will be a lack of tolerance for those old systems. I absolutely love that the ETs have helped with the nuclear triggers. I know we know this as well, and
Mhm.
I just that gives us hope. So that's pretty cool. There are a couple of questions that I'd love to ask you. So one of the most okay, let's talk about the history first, the history of the universe first, from what you know from your teachings with Omnic. Were so the beings who went to Mars and Jupiter and Saturn and Venus, were they different races? And are those races here on the planet today? Is that what we are?
Our ancestors, these races, we are now a big mixture, of course, of all these races. According to Omnec, she always said in her simple words that these were that the black race on Earth originated from Jupiter, that the yellow race originated from Mars, and that the red race from Saturn and the white race from Venus. And I cannot say if they were had the same human shape like we have today, because it is so much time left. I mean, passed since these original beings entered our solar system. But she said that these races had special characteristics, that they all had special talents, special personalities. And of course, now we are on this planet a big family of all these races, and certainly also other races from other galaxies who came later. So we are a big she always said that the earth was supposed to be like a symbol for creativity, a symbol like a paradise where all these beings are able to live in peace and harmony together, including, of course, the non-human and the non physical forms. So we have a huge variety of life forms on the earth, and these were brought and came from different galaxies, as far as I know, and as far as Omnic taught it. Yes.
Fascinating, really fascinating. And as you were sharing that, if we look even at our ancient sites in Bolivia, Tiwanaku in Lake Titicaca, there is a central area, a plaza with carvings, and there's so many different faces of beings that speak
Mm-hmm.
exactly to what you're saying. And the locals say that this was a portal, this was a starship enterprise, it was a starship gateway, airport, if you will. And it's just so fascinating. So that really is very, very cool. Okay. And so in the book, I know that there's many that are probably just going to go grab that because it's such a fascinating read. And one of the most fascinating things that I think of is the way that they came from Venus to Earth, Omnic. And she came in a ship, and that ship went through Tibet and a monastery in Tibet. And I find that so fascinating. Can you share your version of that chapter or that episode?
Yes, as far as I remember, of course, because it has been a while since I heard the story myself and I have to read it again. You know, to be serious, Laureen, yesterday I told you that I listened to the interview again that we already had a couple of years ago with Omnec, and it's still the same. It touches me so deeply. Sometimes when I listen to 1 hour Omnec, I have to digest it again myself for at least a day or so, because it touches me so deeply and I always continuously receive new information, and it is still organizing something within me. So it is extremely
It's
powerful, I feel, the
yes, and
information.
multidimensional in the information. I mean,
Multidimensional.
you've worked with her so closely for many, many years, but yet you're still getting information. It's beautiful.
Totally. And while I am talking about it myself and sharing it with others, of course, it's really a lot. So the this story, she said um, that she manifested a physical body on Venus. So according to what she shares, there's a city of rats on Venus which exists multidimensionally. And she went there accompanied by her uncle Odin, because both decided to enter the physical realm. And she explains that in this city of rats, they can manifest things, they can manifest technology, they can manifest bodies. So but she also said there's no point of return. So when they decide to go from the astral into the physical realm, they cannot go back. Which means that now that she is living on Earth, she has to go through the same, she has the same like we have. And that means, just in brackets, because some people say, why can't she just heal herself? Why doesn't she have magical powers? Why this, why that? Well, because she has to live here with the same conditions and the same laws like everybody else does. Plus, it's her decision, because she already has been and was and is so much different because of her huge wisdom and love and her God's perspective on everything, which makes her so different in a way anyway. So it was really her decision not to be even more different from others. So she decided to be as physical as she can be, including her stroke that she experienced in 2009, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she has to die, so to say, like everybody else does. Of course, I know that now some people say we are taking our physical bodies with us when we go into the ascension. I'm not so sure if this is valid for everybody. And I think for Omnec, it's like, she doesn't care. I think if she probably dies, so to say, just in this normal way, that the body probably is going to stop functioning and then her soul will leave. This is what she always said. And she's not going to return to Venus. She always said that she is finished with the first and the second grade. So she's finished with the physical and with the astral world, and she will go and continue learning in the higher worlds, in higher worlds. She said there's no end of experiencing and learning as a soul. It's always continuing. And so after they manifested their physical bodies, she and her uncle Odin, she said that they entered a small craft, a spaceship, a UFO. What we call UFO for them, from their perspective, is not an unknown flying object, because they know what they're using. So it's a NFO, a known flying object, but it's a spaceship or craft. And then she said they were entering a cigar-shaped ship, a big one, which they are using for the long distances, and the small crafts they use for the short distances. And she said it was not more than a day or so. Of course, she has kind of mostly not a big idea of time and money and all these kind of things that we are so much used to here in our physical concepts. It's not really Omnec's world. So if it was a day, or if it was 2 days, or if it was 12 hours, I don't know if she can know this so detailed. And then they entered the atmosphere of the Earth with this mothership, with the cigar-shaped ship, and then the small craft um, took off again. They entered this small craft again, and then they landed in Tibet in this monastery. I think she said it was Agandes. The name is Agandes, right? It's kind of a spiritual temple that's also existing in multidimensionally existing. And she says that this temple, this place, has been used for space travelers and space visitors for thousands of years, because they need this place on the Earth to adjust their physical bodies, to get used to their physical bodies, and to get used to the physical atmosphere, and to get used to things like, she always said that she had to get used to breathing, to sleeping, to eating, to going to the toilet, that she refused to do all these kind of things because she thought this was icky, and that she was trained and taught by monks who supported her in practicing speech and voice, and that she was using this mantra, this Nuri Bani. This is also one of my favorites. The Nuri Bani mantra means light and sound. She said it's Sanskrit, meaning light and sound is what creation is made of. Everything is made of light and sound. So she used this mantra, she said, this Nuri Bani, and she sung it into the mountains, and the mountains were echoing it back to her. So she thought her voice would sound very strange and very, she didn't like it in the beginning. So it took her a while. I'm not sure how long she was there, 1 year, 2 years. She said it was a while when she was living in that place, being taught by the taught and trained, getting used to her body, before she then again was taken with her uncle Odin in a spaceship again to the United States, where she was replaced, where she then replaced this other girl, because this other girl died in an accident.
It's a fascinating story. And for those who want to hear that, we're going to rebroadcast our original conversation with Omnec Onec that was recorded just after 2012, I believe. We were in that gateway, and the book, which you've got behind you as well, is highly recommended for all of those who want to read that story. It really is fascinating, and it's quite remarkable. So when so Omnic, did you say that you think that she's done being in physical form, that she's as she transitions from this physical body, then she'll go on an upward. She's not going to come back into the astral or the physical. She's done.
Yes, that's what she always said. That she said that this was one of the promises from her masters, that she was given right away before she even decided that she would come to Earth. Going through all this, she said that she would be free from the reincarnation process, because they told her that she would have to reincarnate anyway, because she still had karma, she still had loads that she wanted to work out, and that if she decided to go through to do it this way, with including the spiritual mission, including taking on the karma of this other girl Sheila, and being kind of a project and so on, that this would be enough. And that's why she had such a heavy life. Her life was everything else but easy, and it still is not easy. She's still having her difficulties there at this moment. So although she is in her soul, she is free. In her soul, she is perfect. She's a master. I respect her as a spiritual master, absolutely. And yet she still has a physical life that's not so easy. Physically, with her surroundings, no, not really abundance, and physical and financial, everything is always in a very low level. And yet she is totally loving and accepting everything that is, and this is one of her qualities. So yes, she is, when she transcends, she is certainly free as a soul. Sometimes she said that she would be like a little one of these, she wants to be one of these little fat angels, these little wings. I don't know, maybe she's still
Yes.
changing. Cherub.
She is a cherub, actually, in her whole beingness and behavior, quite a
She
cherub.
already is, yes.
Yeah. And it's beautiful because we've got ways that people can work with her teachings. She's got recorded MP3s that were in the studio that are actually quite beautiful. There's a sample on our webpage here. And there was a video conference that you did in the Netherlands.
Ah.
And we have that recorded, and that's all available for our viewers who'd like to check that out. Do you want to talk about any of her meditations and how they can help people?
Oh yes, I mean the main in the this is funny because I said the same in our other recording when you asked me for her CDs. Actually, there are 3 CDs or MP3s as you want. Now you can also order everything as MP3s. And there's one meditation. One CD is with poetry and songs, and the third CD is her when she's telling her story. So all these 3 CDs or audio recordings are completely different. And when you ask me for the meditation, this is the soul journey. The soul journey meditation. This is the older cover. There's also a newer version, but I don't want to confuse you. This is the soul journey, and the soul journey is a beautiful meditation where Omnec says that the mantras and the colors and the sounds, that they help the person who's doing this meditation to connect with these dimensions, with the other dimensions. And that's how they can remember. It's like a soul remembrance, because the CD is about the 7 dimensions. Of course, you can say there are many more, and the 7 are even having smaller dimensions. Anyway, as I told you, Laureen, she keeps these things simple as possible. So on this CD, you can journey through 7 dimensions, starting with the physical, the astral, then comes the causal, the mental, the etheric, the soul, and the God dimension. And with every dimension, there comes a sound, a mantra, a color that you can visualize. And there is, of course, the beautiful music that she, together with her music producer, composed. And all this together takes 70 minutes. And these 70 minutes are to make an experience, to remember your soul, to travel through these dimensions. It expands the awareness, and it's relaxing. Because relaxation is very important for healing purposes, for healing process. Not only the night sleep, this is beautiful as well, but it's also important with meditation, with deep relaxation throughout the day, every once in a while, to simply relax consciously. And this is conscious because the meditation CD is so interesting. It's not boring. You're not falling asleep unless you lay down and you want to sleep. But it's best is, of course, to do it in an upright position, to really stay awake, and then to sit comfortably in a chair and to do it consciously. Then you prevent yourself and your body from falling asleep, because usually the body, when you lay down your body, it thinks, oh, now it's time to sleep, and then you fall asleep. But to make really an experience, to have really an experience that you can remember later on, or that you can share with others, it's better to stay as conscious as possible.
All right. So we want to go experience those other dimensions and get stronger at that. That is our knowingness. Information comes from that experience, and it's beautiful. So thank you so much. That is an MP3 in an immediate download. And did you want to add anything about that beautiful conference that you did? It was good.
Okay. Well, that was in 2016.
Yeah.
Was it 16? I think it was the last time when Omnec was in Europe, Laureen. Yes, it was the last time.
Yes.
And that was a very, very special thing there, because we were invited to be at the University in the Netherlands. And it was extremely, it was a very powerful experience for me personally there. This information is, of course, I think it's not, no, it's not on the videos, but I cannot really recall what it exactly was, what happened there, but there was something. I think it was the way Omnec was treated there by these people. It's a very spiritual place. It used to be an Osho, or it is an Osho center. So these people who are living there and who are going there are very spiritual, very open-minded. And they had a master there. And this master descended, he died a couple of years before. And when Omnec was there, these people from the University, many people felt like he came back in her, with her, accompanied by her, or she was like, they saw him in her. And the way they treated Omnec, so respectful and dignified, uh, and so not human, how do you say, demütig? Yeah, so kind, and it was so special. I was really so humbled, yeah, humbled was the word. It was there when I saw the master in her. I did not see it before. I saw before, I respected her as a Venusian, as a person who really is real. I always respected her authenticity, her love, her teachings, everything. And I saw her as a spiritual teacher. And at the University, where these recordings that you have were taken, I saw her as a spiritual master. And to express this, I went to town and I bought a little robe for her, a cream robe, and I gave it to her as a little gift. It was just my little humble expression, so to say, to say, I see you now. I see you probably even more complete than ever. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that experience that you had, seeing the master. And
Mhm.
this is for all of us, that we are that master as well. And we honor all teachings who awaken that master within us. And
Absolutely.
Omnic does that. And this is a soul contract with you and Omnic, actually, with everybody watching and listening. This is a soul contract, that if we're watching and relating to the information like this, we all play a part in sharing that wisdom, feeling it and finding it within ourselves, trusting it, believing it, knowing it, but then sharing it with everyone. And I guess that would make all of us Venusians. no
And
matter what we
masters.
look like, and masters.
Absolutely, because potentially, this is what Omnec always said, I'm not different than any of you. I'm just the same. I am a simple human being. The only thing that makes me different is my perspective. And when we enter this realm of this perspective of these teachings, we are combining our souls or ourselves with it, and then we realize ourselves as souls and as masters in the end, of course. And so the potential is in everybody. It's in we are all the same. There's no difference.
We are so pleased to have you here on this platform and for you to be sharing the MP3s that Omnec offers and that video conference. How very special. Thank you so much for that. That is available on the special offer button right here on this webpage. Well, Anya, I just love this conversation of remembrance and rekindling that beautiful story of Venusian love and commitment that you have in bringing it forward for humanity. It really what makes you go forward and continue. So when you look out at New Earth, what do you see? Can you share your vision?
Yeah, good question. I only have the positive vision. I decide, especially now in these days, where, like everybody else, when I go outside, I see people with masks, I see controlling, and I see all these things, and I decide to keep my vision alive. So for me, this whole time is like a portal into the inner realm. It opened me, myself, more for the inside and for my visual powers. So I think actually I don't really know what's going to happen and when something is going to happen. Omnec always said that all kinds of prophecies are not really something that are which are trustful, because prophecies have been throughout the last thousands of years, and people keep focusing on something that could be happen in the future, no matter if it is something positive in their minds or negative, but it's still distraction. So the most important thing is always the now. And for me, being in a now comfortable zone is most important. Surrounding myself with people and with information and with things that I love, getting rid of everything that I don't love or that is like a distraction or a burden or something negative, whatever, to really cleanse continuously myself and my surroundings and my mind and my focus, and surrounding with positive visions or clearing my mind. This is what is for me personally actually most important. Sharing my love, sharing my experiences with people who are open, who want to hear it. Or sometimes even when I give just Reiki treatments or light healing treatments, it's not really that I'm talking so much, it's just energy that I'm sharing with people. So I love the Venus, the astral Venus description, the way Omnec shares it. That's something that I always keep in my mind. And I love the Oasis vision. That's a vision of a place that we use to share that could be a part of the transformation of the Earth process. It's a project. It's not physical yet, but it's a vision. So these are my sources of inspiration, Laureen. It's really, I'm trying not to focus my attention so much on anything that I just don't like. I focus, I just had this song in my mind today, one of Omnic's favorite songs, Imagine, from John Lennon. You know,
Yes.
you might say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. maybe one day you'll join us, and we are supposed to be as one.
Thank you, Anja Shaefer.
You may say I'm a dreamer,